who's the, not MYP, I suppose, PYP head, and Rishu Talwar, who is the PYP head. And I see some familiar faces of my friends also, some here in the front rows. And of course, the two young children who introduced me, I am zapped that they actually by-hearted the whole profile. I mean, I was saying if there is a teleprompter, but there was none. It's amazing. And that's what the kids are all about nowadays, the smartest. And I wish to recognize the amazing performances they have put, I think very limited, but still they have done their 2 shows right here and organized themselves so very well. Let's give up a big round of applause to your kids performing here this evening. I see so many parents here. I am one too. I have a teenager, and you know, you're in the queue actually. You'll get there. So today's theme of adaptability actually struck me. I mean, I didn't create this. I mean, Farida Fraz and his team has put together the theme called adaptability. And I specialize in emotional intelligence. And when they said you have to speak a little on adaptability, I said it could be a one-day workshop for parents. It's such an important and a very essential core competence. Not just for, okay, I got the names of Aishwi and Amay, the geniuses who by-hearted things so very well. Thank you. Even my Prime Minister has to see the teleprompter. Now, having said that, it's outstanding to see our kids. As I said, I have passed through the journey you are going through right now, and I have a 17-year-old. And at the stage where they look so cute, they're so sweet, and you feel like hugging them, kissing them, cuddling them up. But when they cross that age, which is so categorized as a dreadful time, and then you have all the issues. And why? And why did we categorize our kids as very sweet, cute, little cuddly kids too, the teenagers who are so challenging to handle? Now, while this is not a session, a workshop for the parents, I'm not here for that. I thought I'll share a few ideas which run through my mind, which are drawn from my specialization called emotional intelligence. Adaptability is such a powerful word. And I see most of you are either business or in enterprise or as a professional or homemaker, whatever roles you are in. At the end of the day, what you carry home is what you want to carry home. Happiness, peace, stability. And of course, affection, love of your dear ones. But if you cannot adapt, those emotions are hard to find. And adaptability is such a natural competence of human species, the only species which could walk from cave to right here, to the auditorium. We could even recreate a Big Bang with the cognitive capabilities we evolved since millions of years. Only species which could evolve because it could adapt. So, why are we facing challenges to adapt? While Farida Fraz and her team said that during COVID, we adapted, not all adapted. There were broken homes, divorced spouses, fights, quarrels, struggle, financial, otherwise, relationships. So while I am focusing on the minuscule population who had challenges, that clan is growing. And if you isolate just COVID and look at the overall life we are leading, the conflicts we have in our life, whether they are professional, personal, relationship, workplace, or the kind of unconditional love we intend to give to our children, are being challenged because we have somewhere started questioning the need to adapt. We have become a little arrogant because we are much more secure physically unlike our ancestors who kind of grew with a physical survival necessity of adaptability. Today, we don't have a threat like that. So we teach sometimes, unfortunately, and unintentionally to children, be yourself. Maybe I'm crossing a line in talking about a cliched phrase. I'm not lecturing anyone. But when you say to a child, be yourself, at a very young age, I'm just picking one point, because I don't have time for much. Now, if an unformed, incomplete, evolving child is trained to be herself or himself, there is a level of adamance, there is a level of arrogance, there is a level of close-mindedness which develops over the period of time. And once they get into the teens and beyond, you see even individuals at 25, 30 in your workplaces or as partners or as professionals working for you, it's so hard to adapt to a new system. It's so hard to be professionals to disengage from their own value systems and sync with the organizational value system. That is why we have so many challenges in organizational culture. If you integrate businesses, if you acquire businesses, integration becomes such a hassle. In families, there is such a huge hassle of integration of a common parenting approach. Father says something, mother says something, and then the child can be confused. Because one bare minimum understanding of adaptability is you're never complete till you die. And when you die, you don't need to adapt to anything else. But till you die, you got to adapt at every single stage, right? From the boys who came here, the girls who came here, when they are, the 2nd to 5th grade, all the way till senior citizens who are living with their children, along with their children, or living by themselves, they need to adapt. So I share a small model with you before I wrap this in a couple of minutes. I call it OLA, you might even call it breaching a copyright of Ola. But the model I propose is open-mindedness, learning competence, and adaptability. Now, if we do not understand these three concepts in tandem, then we tend to be those individuals who will resist adaptability. And when you resist adaptability, I told you figuratively, but sometimes literally, we tend to die. So life is about adaptability, and death is the opposite of it. And even businesses or parents, if they are looking at open-mindedness, if you were to audit your home, how open-minded is your home? Do people listen to each other actually, or they are burying their heads in gadgets and TVs and the other avocations? Do people actually listen to each other? So the adaptability is about being open-minded to listen and observe so that you can change for better. Evolution is always change for better. And why should it stop at certain age? Why should it stop at a certain role? If I'm a principal, I can still adapt, I can still evolve, I can be open-minded, I can be observant of the opportunities, and then move on. So open-mindedness is very critical to adaptability, and it applies to businesses, it applies to families, it applies to schools, it applies to teachers. No one is exception. Then comes the learning, the quest to learn, to be the better version of you. There are a lot of friends, as I said, I see some familiar faces here, not anymore in the darkness. But when we look back, all of you are young parents, but even if you were to look back and say, in my school times, I had these friends, and then you have a reunion and say, man, you are exactly the same like how you were 20 years back. And we are happy about it. Actually, you should be sad about it. You shouldn't be the same. You could grow so much. Intellectually, cognitively, emotionally. The economic part, I keep it aside. That's about individual competence, professional competence. But the rest of the story must have changed, should have changed. So we shouldn't be excited that we don't change. We should change, and change for better. So the learning part, nobody needs to teach us this. We are all learners. But we have filters nowadays, thanks to the social media influencers. The unbelievable rage and unbelievable occupancy of pushing my ideas on somebody, pushing my beliefs on somebody, it is causing so much damage to the young people. The learning is about independence to learn. And if children are not cut off from these influences, I'm not saying use force. I'm saying teach them how to be open-minded. Teach them how to be learning-oriented. Learning not just academics, learning cognitive capability, learning emotional capability. All our children are smart, but are they emotional? Do they give a hug back? Do they give a kiss back? Do they come and ask, Papa, give me a hug? Do they come to the mom and say, Mom, let me kiss you? Now, if they aren't doing that, man, they should be doing that. I'm not saying force them. Saying we got to look at the learning in multiple dimensions, not just in one. Education is not for just employment. Education is for empowerment, enablement. So the last is adapt. O-L-A. So if you don't adapt, then you run into conflicts. You don't adapt, you get into issues which you have to resolve today or tomorrow or day after. You lose control of your own, whether it's a business or it's your family or your individual social connections, if we don't adapt. So my dear friends, it's such a wonderful occasion, such a nice evening where we all got together, and the short form of entertainment and showcase of the talent was absolutely fantastic. I was touched by the traditional way things were done in the top school of Telangana and also in India. And I think we should continue our traditional aspects and traditional journey. And I wish to congratulate all the teachers, the PSC members, and especially Principal Farida Fraz for leading such a beautiful show this evening. And thank you very much for having me this evening. Thank you.